Hello and welcome. You're with IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live interactive web television. This is your very own platform where you can engage with us and talk to us as we do our shows. And you can write into us your posts, your feedback, your comments on the shows that we do, the topics we cover. You can also leave us your video comments and of course send us your tweets at #IndiaPostLive and @IndiaPostLive. Well, it's Monday, and as you know, Monday is the day on India Post Live that we focus on social entrepreneurs. And today we are focusing on a very, very unique concept. I would like to tell you a little bit more about it. Whenever you reach marriageable age, be it a boy or a girl, you have people hovering down on you, be it inquisitive relatives, nosy neighbors, or even the gentleman down the street. And they are all out with their questions, their proposals, and this entire enthusiasm of brokering marriage deals. However, the same cannot be said for the differently abled. Now, there was a young woman called Kalyani Khona who realized this, and she set up India's very own urban matrimonial agency for the differently abled. Take a look.
No one should lead their lives alone unless it's a choice. But for a differently abled person, looking for a partner is a little more tough than usual. Wanted Umbrella, an initiative taken by a young Mumbaikar, Kalyani Khona, has made the task a little easy for them. Wanted Umbrella is a matchmaking agency for the differently abled, an agency to bring together people without bias or prejudices.
All right, so we just said that we wanted Umbrella, and Kalyani Khona, we just said, is from Mumbai, and she joins us to talk about her venture. Kalyani, welcome to India Post Live. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Great. Kalyani, tell us a little bit about this initiative. You know, your calling, this calling that you had. How did the whole idea of setting up a matrimonial for disabled people or differently abled people strike you?
So basically, initially I used to love connecting people from my college life. There was, if I used to find a friend who's single, and I had somebody who's a cousin and is single, I used to like, why don't you guys meet and everything. So then later I was confused in what I want to do in my life. So I did something called as Project 20, where I worked in 20 different companies for 1 month each to figure what I like doing. So from 1 month in PR, 1 month in marketing, maybe 1 month, you tell it and I've done it, NGO, social work, everything. So while I was at these places, I figured there's not enough platform for individuals to meet. Like right now, you still see a lot of youngsters meeting at meetups and coffee chats and everything. But back then when I started this research on this, which was last year, there wasn't much happening on that front. So I thought let's do something where people people who want to get married get a safe platform and an innovative platform. So something called a Table for Six. So if there are 6 people from Canada who've been to Canada, or 6 people who are into journalism, so or 6 people who are into PR, they can meet and they can get to know each other in a safe environment, have fun at the same time. So the whole point was, instead of spending a Friday night scanning million plus profiles, it's better to meet 50 good innovative people, like-minded people. So for the purpose of the likelihood of getting a match there is higher compared to those, because I personally don't feel that a computer algorithm can help you out, because as per you see me right now, I got a Watchman as my near accurate match in a matrimonial website. So I'm educated. I have a degree from Ivy League, and I get a Watchman as my, So that was the whole point where I realized that till you cannot cure a heart stroke through technology, you really need somebody to get two people together. So that was the whole point. And
Wonderful.
then when I went to find offices, they told me you can't have physically disabled people coming here. So I was like, so what about doctors and their clinics? So like, yeah, even we don't have any clinic 2 kilometers in this vicinity, because we think it's a bad omen, and it's right here in Mumbai. So Mumbai is a very open-minded. Yeah, bad omen. So Mumbai is a very open-minded cosmopolitan city. So exactly. So when they told me this, I was like, are you serious? And he's somebody who's been to US and who's been to a lot of places and is very educated. And him telling me this. So then I went to a few other places to look out for offices. And even they told me that, we don't appreciate people with physical disability here and everything. And then I went to audit the venue. I thought maybe it's because they don't have lifts or they don't have enough infrastructure is why they are rejecting people with physical disability. So when I went, they have proper ramps, they have lifts, they have everything which is needed for a person with physical disability to get through. So then I asked them, is anybody in this entire 14 floor high tech building employed a physically disabled person? They said no, because our policy doesn't allow so. So then I went ahead and I found out if there is, what do they do in their free time, and if there is anyone who does matchmaking for physically disabled. And everywhere I got an answer which was no, there's nothing like this. And physically disabled people said that they're not given enough focus because there are anywhere million plus profiles to scan through. And then I went to an offline chapter of a matrimony website, just pretending that my brother is physically disabled and to know how things work. So even they indirectly said, first of all, their venue was not accessible to people with physical disability. So you need to actually rely on your parents or somebody to guide you through and everything. But apart from that, they indirectly told me that, we're so busy with all those things and they themselves didn't know a lot of things. So I figured that the gap needs to be solved. And I can clearly, I'm very satisfied with, with the idea because of the validation that my customers have shown me, which I'll talk in the later, part of it. So I hope I've answered your first question.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, your story when you told, I was reminded of my reporting days, going and finding out from the buildings and seeing if they have ramps for the disabled, and then no, they don't employ any disabled person. Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's actually a wonderful story. It should be penned down somewhere, Kalyani. I would request you to write into us with that story whenever you have the time. But tell us, how has the response been to this? You've done this, like you said, there aren't any matrimonial sites specifically for differently abled. What is the response been for it?
There are matrimonial websites for physically disabled called as Ability Matrimony, etc. But physically disabled people are not comfortable with the website because there's more. You need pre-consultancy, you need post-consultancy. They've already been through a lot of prejudice. They think that getting a job or just mere survival is enough. And sometimes when I talk to my members, they tell me we read this article and then we thought, okay, maybe it's possible, So there are, I think, 95% of people with disability, it's actually possible to get married, but few of the reasons are employment or a lot of things which are external, not internal. It's a barrier for them to get.
Kalyani, your wanted umbrella is less than a year old, you said, right?
Just 2 months. Today I complete 2 months actually.
2 months, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so congratulations.
Thank you so much. I started researching on this in Jan, but I went completely on board with the website and everything on 1st July, and today is 1st September, so it's exactly 2 months. And the response, as your question states, I have 35 members right now. Okay. And I have 15 in pipeline who are yet to complete their documentation process. So it's an agency, it's not a website. So I need a lot of documents to complete their profile. It's like a package that I prepare with their photograph, with all their past details, their disability. Is it able to, can you cure them? Do they not have enough funds to cure them? Or what is the full point of it? So I just try to help them from every point of view rather than just, going for, okay, you need to match this way. So it's 35 members plus 15 in pipeline right now. So almost one per day. I get one member per day. I get 4 to 5 calls.
One member per day. That's wonderful. Yes. And it's a charge of about 3,000 rupees, right?
Yes, but right now I'm not charging for my first 100 customers. Because it's the first agency. Right. I need to understand where exactly am I able to monetize this first. Absolutely. Second, it's because it's the learning ground for me. It's like a mini MBA for me, myself. So they are the ones who actually help me with where I can go next. So sometimes I get lost into what next now because I've explored this, I've explored that. So how do I get more members? And they show me networks and NGOs and they talk to people on my behalf. So I think first 100, I want to form a community of first 100 people who will help me develop further and take this product on the next level.
Absolutely, and we wish you all the best for that. But you have just told us that they are treated differently. People normally in India have this mindset that they should get a job, they should have their basic survival, and that's it. They don't deserve more, they can't get more, they should not aspire for more from their lives. Do you think that mindset is changing now?
Yes, because I think out of 35, 10%, not 10 actually, 25% of my members are people who are non-disabled but open to getting married to somebody with physical disability. So
Wow.
maybe
Wow.
they are divorcees, or maybe they have some health disorder like they're
Hmm.
thalassemia or diabetic. So
Hmm.
somebody who's thalassemic cannot get married to only somebody who's thalassemic, but otherwise is perfectly fine. But
Absolutely.
our
Hmm.
society treats them in a way where they're coming to me saying they have a physical disability, and I'm like, no, that's not physical disability.
Right.
I had a member who was 95 kgs, and she said I'm physically disabled. I'm like, no, you're just obese, you're not physically disabled. But our society categorizes them as different,
I know.
altogether,
Yeah,
and
people can
different
be
in a
quite cruel.
demeaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and different in a demeaning way.
Yeah.
If you tell them you're different, I people tell me if I'm different, I feel good because I'm doing something else. But there they put him or her down. And
Right.
my members are somebody who work as lawyers in lawsuit firms, or IBM managers, and even CEOs for that matter, and with basic disability. But and they all are well to do, but all of them are just let down with from on the personal level front. Like professionally, they themselves have educated themselves, done a lot of to bring them up, and because they don't have this personal aspect, they have actually done really well in professional life. Most of
Right.
my members have PhDs from foreign universities, Boston University, MIT. You tell me, and I have them. So what it means is they only lack in external acceptance, not internally. They're internally very strong and willing to do everything.
And you have members outside Mumbai also. How do you operate? How do you do that thing? The cross country thing. How do you do that?
So actually not cross India. I have international members also. So I have Indians who've been settled in Malaysia or maybe USA or somewhere, and who are physically disabled or otherwise divorcees, who applied. So right now my first member was from Bangalore, like we were talking earlier.
Yes.
But apart from this, I have members from Chennai, New Delhi, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, and of course Mumbai. So how this works is they just send me a request saying they want to apply for membership. They have to
Okay.
fill a form and with their photograph.
Hmm.
But after that, if they're from Delhi and if I find a suitable profile in Mumbai, I wait for 2 more profiles to come up, and then I set up a meeting so that they go to Delhi for one day and finish all 3 meetings in a day. So that monetizes their expenses also. Like it's covered in minimum resources,
Hmm.
and they get maximum out of it. Or if I have one member from Delhi and the other one also from Delhi, I have set ambassadors in Bangalore and Delhi for now who attend these meetings, or who meet both of them and introduce each other. Or apart from this, it's just been 2 months, so I have not started. I'm still working on the operations. But is there? I will set up a network where there are table for six happening in Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi,
You're
and I
doing all
can
this
attend those.
alone, Kalyani. You're doing all this alone. You don't have
Yeah,
anybody.
that is why it's taking me a lot of time to set things up, because I'm one person army doing operations, doing
Wow,
marketing, doing
wow.
PR.
But
So
Kalyani, I can tell you it's marvelous to just hear you speak. Your energy is kind of coming across to me from the screen. I
thank
can
you.
imagine if you were sitting with me in the studio, what would have happened. This entire place would have been charged with energy. I'm feeling so charged. And it was such a pleasure talking to you and hearing about Wanted Umbrella. And I think it's a marvelous thing you're doing. Please keep it up. And
Sure.
great work. And thank you so much for joining us on India Post Live. But I will still insist, if you could pen down that story of yours, it was very journalistic in nature, just the way you described it to us. Please write it down for us on India Post Live, and I'm sure all our viewers would love to know of how you started this venture. All right.
Definitely will take
Thank,
this forward.
thank you
Yes.
so much, Kalyani. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Pleasure, pleasure. Bye bye, bye bye. All right, so as you know, it's Monday. We are discussing social entrepreneurs, and we are talking about Wanted Umbrella. Wanted Umbrella is a matrimonial service for the differently able started by Mumbai's Kalyani Khona. And in fact, we have one person with us who is about to join the member, and they don't call it a matrimonial service really, as we just heard. They call it an agency. His name is Amar Jain. He is a corporate lawyer from Mumbai, and he is visually impaired. And this is what he had to say about Wanted Umbrella. Let's hear him.
Kalyani's two skills are that she's an event manager, and she's also coming up with this idea with a commercial approach in mind. So it's not a charitable service or social service which she's doing. Now talking about the organization, it's I think a wonderful idea to have this. And why do we need this is because firstly people are not open to the idea of connecting differently abled for such purposes. Many families I've seen where families even don't take the initiative of getting them married. Some families are not open to the idea of having another disabled partner for their son or daughter. Some people with disability also feel that if we get married, whether we'll be able to kind of, overcome the challenges which the daily life puts in front of us. Then also there are certain other aspects like the society and other stuff, but majorly also there is an aspect of whom to marry, and lack of training, sensitization of people, lack of education and awareness about issues relating to disability are also the other factors. Even all those agencies who claim to provide these services are not actually well versed with the issues which person with disability has to go or face in such cases. People with disability do have a happy married life. There are ways to deal with the challenges which come in daily life. And once that is over, then I don't think that it would be really challenging to get them together for these matrimonial events.
That was corporate lawyer from Mumbai, Amar Jain, who is going to be a part of Wanted Umbrella, the agency for differently abled people, in helping them finding their partners, their soulmates. And he spoke to us about how imperative it is for people to realize that differently abled people can lead normal lives, can have a happy, normal married family life. That was a wonderful thing, and of course as we are discussing, Wanted Umbrella definitely is a very, very unique and a beautiful initiative, because how many of us really know how many differently abled people are there in this country? I don't think many of you do. So let's bring you that an infographic telling you exactly how many there are. As you can see on your screens, there are 26.8 million differently abled people, and of them 14.9 are males and 11.8 million are females. Come to think of it, that's a huge number, of which 18 million are from a rural background and 8.1 from an urban background. Now, many NGOs say that 5 to 6% of the country's population are physically challenged in some way or the other, though a lot of people do not themselves come out in the open with it. So that is something that definitely needs to be looked into. And as we just saw there, the rural number, that's 18 million of the 26.8 million, have some kind of physical disability. They are differently abled, but in fact people in the rural areas are more prone to not revealing or abstaining from revealing their physical condition. So a lot of importance needs to be given to this sector primarily. Of course, Wanted Umbrella, as we told you, is an urban based agency for the differently abled people. However, this is one aspect that needs to be looked into, but as Kalyani told us, with changing mindsets and more acceptance, and also the acceptance that there are non-differently abled people who are willing to marry differently abled people, that itself shows that there is going to be a change in the society. So moving on, we are talking about Wanted Umbrella. Now, Wanted Umbrella, as we just told you, is an agency, it's a matrimonial service. However, in our country, there are several initiatives that have been taken for the differently abled, and you are taking a look at some of them. Barrier Break is a company that helps make educational institutions and technology companies disabled friendly in terms of the ramps, in terms of the lifts. You have White Print, India's first English lifestyle magazine in Braille, that was launched last year in May. Kickstart, a disabled-friendly cab service which was started in December last year. So these are some entrepreneurial initiatives which are being taken by people, and we would love to showcase them all. If any of you from these agencies are watching this show on India Post Live, please get in touch with you. The way we contacted, the way we showcased Wanted Umbrella, we would love to showcase the wonderful, wonderful work you are doing as well. It is very important to bring differently abled people into mainstream society because each one of us individuals has a right to live a happy, personal life, to live a life with someone, if you want to, that is. If it's a choice that you don't, then that's a different thing. I would love all of you to write into us regarding the show that we just had, this very, very interesting and very heartwarming show, a matrimonial service for the differently abled. And it's just 2 months old. Want an Umbrella is just 2 months old, but there has been good response. One per day is a wonderful response in a country which does not even recognize differently abled people. They do not give them jobs, and they have so many other issues to face. So I would like to thank Kalyani once again for joining us. I would like to thank Amar Jain once again for speaking to us about this issue. I would request all of you to write into us with your thoughts and comments. Send us your tweets at @IndiaPostLive and #IndiaPostLive. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.